Hello,
Hello.
it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you for carving out some time for this conversation.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay.
Great.
Okay.
So the first question that I have in mind is, what are your thoughts on what is currently happening in Rafah, and how could a humanitarian disaster among civilians have been avoided?
First of all, what's happening is heartbreaking. It's a genocide against the people of Rafah and the people of Gaza in general. The only way this could have been avoided if the United States has put an end and put a stop to the madness of Benjamin Netanyahu. In the end, Benjamin Netanyahu, he's just doing this and killing these innocent people for one reason only, and that is for him to stay in power. He wants to invent a victory for himself, and it's on the blood of the Palestinian people, the blood of the people of Gaza, and the only thing he wants is him to stay in power. Because today, if the war on Gaza, the genocide on Gaza stops and the wars and the military operation stops, he'll be taken out of office and he'll be put in prison because of corruption charges. So the only way could have this humanitarian crisis has been avoided if the United States really seriously worked and put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel.
How do you think Israel's onslaught on Rafah will end?
And today, Israel is very under big pressure, especially the resistance in Rafah has been, they are unable to achieve anything. They are unable to get any prisoners out, or arresting or capturing or killing any of the leaders of Hamas. They are unable to stop the missiles launching from Gaza. So until now, all of this military operation is a big failure. And the more it's taking longer, and it is making more pressure on the Israeli government. And then here, Gantz, Gavir, also Netanyahu. So this is going to end where the international pressure, the interior pressure, and the pressure from the Palestinian resistance, that, as we can see, did not get any weaker. It's still operating in the north, in the south, in the center, east, west of Gaza, all over. Any place they want in Gaza, they are they are operating in it.
How Israel's present Middle East foreign policy will play out?
Actually, what's going on, the region, the Middle East, will not be the same after this, because in the end, a two-state solution is needed in the Middle East. And when there is a two-state solution, Israel cannot do what it used to do, the massacres, the killing, the wars, anytime they want. And also today, Israel is not the same power as it used to be. They've lost in 2006. They've lost several times in Gaza. Now this is a big failure for them. So they are unable. They are getting weaker. And the people, the settlers and the people don't want war. They are sick and tired of war. They're sick and tired of a big part of them. I'm not saying all of them. They're the extremists. They want war. But the big part of them, they don't want war. They don't want this killing. They just want to live in peace because they are sick and tired. But the problem, the main problem that's happening in this region, it is Zionism, the Zionist. It's not the Jewish. It's not the Muslims. It's not the Palestinians. It's not anyone. It's the Zionist political movement that's running the United States, AIPAC, that's running a lot of European countries, and the running, of course, the Israeli cabinet. So the Zionist movement should be put an end for it. Who's going to put the end? I think it's. I see the region going to regional war in the end, because the madness of this person, Netanyahu, is not ending. There's no one to. The United States doesn't want to stop him. They are supporting him politically, militarily, financially, and now the American elections on the way. And as we can see, Trump is coming in, and that's even worse. because Trump, he supports Israel much more than Biden. So we're seeing, I see the region in the next few months up to 2025 into a war, regional war, because till now no one is working for peace, not any side. One side is defending themselves, and the other side, they are mad. They are not thinking with their brains.
Yeah, they don't have any interest in peace, I guess.
Yes, that is so true.
Well, but is it possible that Muslim world could support the Palestinian people?
That's a big problem, actually, because a lot of the Muslims and Arab countries and the leaders of those countries are pro-America and pro-Israel. So even the Palestinian people, they have no hope, and they don't bet on the support of the Arab leaders or the Arab or the Muslim leaders, because in the last 75 years they did nothing for them. The only few countries that supported Palestine and Gaza was Algeria, Syria, Lebanon, and not all of Lebanon, a part of Lebanon, and Tunisia, and the Egyptian people, not the governments, the Egyptian people. That's all. The rest, they were all pro the United States. I mean, the leaders and the governments, they are pro. So the Palestinian people, well, they don't support. Like, who supported the Palestine and the Palestinian resistance for all these years is Iran. And Iran is a Muslim country, but not an Arab country. Who should be supporting Palestine is the Arabs. Who did the lawsuit against Israel in the international court was South Africa. Where's the Arab countries? There's 300 million Arabs, 22 Arab countries. A lot of them, they are the richest countries on planet Earth with oil. That's the problem. The Arab leaders, they are pro-United States, and they take their employees for the American State Department. They take their orders by the Americans.
Then what force could prevent Israel from continuing its military operations in the Gaza Strip and the Middle East in general?
The resistance. The resistance in South Lebanon, resistance in Palestine, the Yemenis, the resistance, what they're doing, also in Iraq, what they are doing against the Israeli occupation. In the end, it's going to take resistance when they see they are unachieving, and the region is getting, the resistance movement are getting stronger, and the war is getting bigger. Then the Israelis will figure out that we are shooting ourselves in the head, committing suicide. That is when they are forced to sit on the table. The Israeli defense minister threatened South Lebanon in it's going to be a hot summer in the north of Palestine, south of Lebanon. He is threatening Lebanon in an invasion. Well, they couldn't achieve any goals in Gaza, and Gaza has been surrounded since 2007. How is he going to be able to achieve anything against Hezbollah? The Hezbollah and the Lebanese resistance, where they are 100 times more trained, weaponized, they have more land to operate in. So I think this is what I was talking about. When they do this mad, crazy movement on South Lebanon, that is where they're gonna see the real weapons and the real hurting. Like, all of the missiles of Gaza didn't do that much damage. But when we're talking about Hezbollah, we are talking about sophisticated, smart missiles, big damage. I think the Israelis are not going to take that, and they will force in the end. The pressure that he's getting from inside and the political pressure from outside, like Spain, Ireland, all those several countries, it is going to have a big role. The more international pressure, the more this war ends faster.
Have you noticed the breaking news about Iran, Spain, and Norway that they recognize the Palestinian as an independent state?
That was a very good move, and that was a brave, very brave move by them. It's about time, for the world to stand up and say no to the United States and say no to the Israeli genocides against the Palestinian people. These people have been suffering for 75 years. A lot of people say, well, if the Palestinians resistance, Hamas, didn't do October 7, this wouldn't have happened. No, this was all planned. If they never used the accuse of October 7, they could have used another excuse. But in reality, the Israelis are killing, massacring, all of that for 75 years. What happened on October 7, it was a reaction of 75 years of oppression and murder and massacre. So it is about time for the country, the world, to stand up, say no to the United States, say no to imperialism, and say no to Israel. It's time for the two-state solution.
I agree that it's really a brave action from those countries. But how do you think other countries will join and take those actions too?
Yes, I think they will. There will be more countries. The longer this war the longer this war continues, the more countries are going to join. Today, Israel is being by the people of the world. Forget about governments. The people of the world are starting to being disgusted and hating Israel because of their action. It's not about being anti-Semitic. No. It's about their actions. If they live in peace and they respect their neighbors, they respect the Christians of Bethlehem, and they respect the Muslims of Al-Quds, Jerusalem, and they don't attack their mosque, and they don't attack the Church of Jesus Christ, no one will have any problem with them. If they were respectable neighbors and did not kill and steal the houses and the land, no one will have any problem. But today, if you say you're anti-Israel, they will say you're anti-Semitic. In my case, I cannot be anti-Semitic because the people of this area are all Semitic. If you're Jewish, Muslim, or Christian, you're Semitic. But the media and their propaganda, the United States and Zionist propaganda, only Israel is Semitic. But that is a wrong information for the world. There's the Muslims of Lebanon, of Syria, the Christians of Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, all of that area 100 years ago was one country. So all of that is Semitic. They have the same blood. If you're Muslim, Christian, or Jewish. I just wanted to give that information because not a lot of people know that information. And because the Americans, they use that a lot. They accuse anyone who says they're against Israel or against Israeli crimes, they say, you're anti-Semitic. Well, that doesn't go, they're false information.
I think, yes, that's a necessary information for our audience. And Syria is an extremely ancient state. So although Islam is the predominant religion in the country today, it is worth noting that Christianity originated in Syria. And Syria is a country with strong ties to its religious traditions. What do you believe the world will look like in maybe 20 years or so? Which states will have a strategic advantage?
First of all, about Syria, the religion of the religions in the world, the three religions started from Syria. And the people like here, Syrian Arab Republic, there's 18 different sects, not only Christians and Muslims. There's 18 different, and they all live with each other. They all respect each other. The Muslims, they celebrate with the Christians in Christmas and Easter. The same thing with the Christians. They respect the Muslims in Ramadan. They fast with them. They don't eat in front of them. We have this tradition, especially like you'll see in the same building, neighbors, door by door, celebrating with each other. We still have that tradition. The 13 years of war on Syria, and the American war on Syria, it's not a revolution at all. It's nothing got to do with a revolution. The the American war on Syria, it tried to eliminate that by supporting and funding radical Islamic terrorist group, bloodthirsty terrorists, to starting killing. In 2010, they didn't have in Syria. We didn't used to ask, oh, he's a Sunni or he's a Shiite or he's an Alawite or he's a Christian Orthodox or he's a Christian Protestant. We're all Syrian. We never even used to ask each other. That wasn't even in our priorities. That's the last thing on our mind. And actually, we were shy to ask. Like whoever asked a question like that or ask, he will be shocked or ashamed. Like what he did, like he cussed. Like when he said something bad in the street, it's the same thing. Like because that's not our habits, it's not our tradition. We are raised for hundreds of years. Like today, Islam is on 1,400 years. Christianity is about 2,024 years. There was some Jews, but they were taken out from the country years ago, decades ago. The Americans took him out. That's a different story completely. But we have Syrianic, we have Kurds, we have Arabs, we have all of those different kind of sects, 18 different sects from all religions in Syria. They still live with each other. They have no problem. And so Syria, and it's going to continue. Like this war didn't affect that topic so much because the churches are still here. Everyone is celebrating with each other. The lifestyle didn't change on that topic. Like maybe you're asking about it, like for sectarian war. No, that did not happen in Syria. That did not happen at all. Thank God that didn't happen. But where the people got damaged is because and today the Syrian people is on the American sanctions. They are suffering. No electricity, no water, no fuel, no cooking gas, that. But on religious issues, no, we still live the same. We're neighbors because we're all suffering the same. Everyone is having the same suffering. Where I see the world of Syria in 20 years.
Yeah, about in 20 years, how the world will look like. In your view?
I'm optimistic about the future because for many reasons, and the number one reason is the alliance between Beijing and Moscow. That alliance getting stronger and getting bigger because it's standing in the face of the American imperialism, standing in the face of the oppression of the Americans against the free world. I'm happy, optimistic about that. I hope more countries can join into that alliances. Like Iran is joining now. The three, Beijing, Tehran, and Moscow, they are working with each other on, and it's getting increasing bigger and bigger. Brazil today, India, half. It all depends on the pressure that they get. I hope, like, I wish if more countries join and have faith and trust. But where I have a wish is that our side, and that is let's call it as we used to call it in the Cold War, the Eastern camp, China and Russia, and the countries aligned with them. We have to work on the media more. The other side, they are stronger than us on media. On the other side, they work with each other as a soul, like BBC, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times, Sky News, all of them. It's like they have the same operation room. Like when they want to demonize a person, for example, let's take a example, President Bashar al-Assad or President Putin. At one point, they were demonizing them. All of their media demonized them. Another period of time, they made them like angels and superpowers. If it was President Bashar al-Assad or President Putin, so their media, it's much stronger, and they work with each other. They are more powerful on the media, and this is what we should do. Like Syria, Russia, China, Iran, all of these, there is the financials. There is finance to do strong media. There is smart journalists, hardworking journalists. Like one of the reasons that this happened to Syria, we didn't have any media, and we never had any media to support us. Like the only media in 13 years ago was RT in English. I'm
Oh,
talking about in English media, because today the world speaks English. It was RT, CGTN, and Press TV, and each channel goes by their own point of view, and didn't do that much effort. So Syria depended on the freelance journalist, and the same thing today in on what's happening in Russia. Also, they're using the media to demonize Russia. The freelance journalists with RT, of course, Sputnik, and other journalists and other YouTube channels working in English are doing their best. But freelance journalists doesn't have the same equipment, doesn't have the same power as big corporations. There's a lot of corporations in Russia, a lot of corporations in China. They need to work with each other. The world today is coming to AI. The world coming up to today's social media. We're not talking about TV stations anymore. We have to beat them in their and use their weapon, fighting them in their own weapon. That's what we should do, and that's what I hope seeing the world in 20 years.
yeah, that's a great thought. I think, yeah, we should stand together towards them. So, and which states will have a strategic advantage?
Can you be more specific?
I mean, which states will have a strategic advantage in future? I mean, in near future.
I see today the countries who are working on themselves and working on advancing. China is doing beautiful work, helping mankind. Russia, the same thing. Saudi Arabia is doing something big, the Vision 2030. Also, the Sultan of Oman, they have a vision of 2035. Also, they're doing the United States, no, because the interior problems are increasing. If it's civil war, if it's the financial, it's the economical. So the situation in the United States, in the inside, I'm talking about the societies. I'm not talking about politics and governments. I'm talking about societies. The United States is not doing that much good interiorly. Those are the most countries that today they have the spotlight on them, and they're working hard for their future. Of course, the countries of Southeast Asia, but mainly today, Saudi Arabia, and I hope they continue with that, because what they're doing is very smart move. The UAE, they did everything. So let's see, are they going to continue in this in the near future as the same advantage, as the same work, economical, on mentality, on science. It's all about science. When I chose those countries, I chose on, first of all, on economy, working on their economy, and working on science and technology. And those countries are working on science and technology, especially, as I said, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Southeast Asia. The United States, not that much. The United States and the deep state are only concentrating on war and causing war. But also, at the same time, in the next 20 years, there might be a world war, because the world cannot continue how it is today. There is going to be a world war. If it's going to be small, it's going to be big, that future will tell us. But there is, in the next 20 years, there is a World War III. It is going to happen. But after that, everything will get better, because after we saw after World War I and after World War II how the world it changed. I hope the world will change to be better, and we'll end with these all of wars and killing, and everyone will live in peace, because we're tired of war in Syria. 15 years is more than enough for us.
It's a lot. It's a huge number of years. I think it's really, and 20 years.
It's a half of my life, actually. Half of my life through living in war.
Yeah, that's frustrating, actually.
Yeah.
In the end of our conversation, I would ask you to, maybe you want to send, what kind of message you would like to send to the world? Maybe some wishes or message that you have in mind that people.
The only thing The only thing I would like to ask for the people of the world is pray for the people of Gaza. They are suffering. They are sleeping without no homes, no food. There's about 17,000 orphans in Gaza. There is 15,000 children been killed. Over 36,000 have been killed in general, men, women, and children. There is 10,000 children killed under the rubbles. Under the rubble. They didn't take their bodies yet. It's just heartbreaking. Just pray for them. Whatever happens, if you're pro-Palestine, against Palestine, we're talking about children here. We're talking about women here. Forget about your political views. Just pray for those people, because whatever the Palestinians did, it's not 36,000. It's much bigger price. They paid 100 times bigger price. And at the same time, I hope if the world will just put more pressure on the United States to lift the sanctions off of Syria, because also people in Syria are suffering. No electricity. We get one electricity every 5-6 hours. Hardly any fuel for the cars, for the hospitals. The prices are going way up. The wages are very low. Very hard economical situation we're going through. So we just need to the help of the world. Like, we cannot live like this much longer. The situation is really bad in Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. Those three countries. The situation is really bad. And in the end, it's all because of the United States of America. The cause of all evil, the cause of all wars, the cause of all suffering is the United States foreign policy. If it's Republicans, Democrats, they are the suffering. They killed millions in Vietnam, killed millions in Afghanistan, millions in Iraq, millions in Libya, millions in Yemen, and no one punished them. No one put sanctions on them. No one took them to court. If it was another country who did 1% of what they did, they could have already put him in prison.
I hope that in your future, all suffering will come to an end.
We hope so. We hope so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
We're done. Thank you so much for your detailed interview. It's important.
Thank you very much. And it was an honor for me to be with you.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Take care. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.